Have you ever looked in the mirror and quietly asked yourself, am I still attractive? Maybe you stared at your reflection and remembered a time when your hair was thicker, your skin smoother. But let me tell you something you probably don't hear often. You are still incredibly attractive. Not despite your age, but because of it. This video isn't about trying to hold on to youth. It's about celebrating the beauty of maturity, your steady walk, the wisdom in your eyes, and the quiet confidence that's been shaped by a lifetime of experiences. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might start to see yourself in a whole new light, filled with pride, gratitude, and self-love. You don't need to pretend to be someone else to get attention. Sometimes it's your simplicity and the depth of your life that leave the strongest impression. True attractiveness doesn't come from flashy things or loud voices. It radiates from the energy you carry. And that energy, my friend, is something you've earned through every challenge and every victory. So before we dive in, I want to ask you, when was the last time someone came to you for advice or smiled just because you walked into a room? Do you remember that quiet feeling of respect? Maybe it's been a while since you paused to think about it. Or maybe you're just beginning to realize how powerful your presence truly is. As we explore these signs together, I invite you to reflect. You may discover parts of yourself you've been too humble to see. And by the end, who knows? You might feel a new appreciation for the amazing man you've become. Are you ready? Let's begin. It may seem like a small thing, but when people keep coming to you for advice, it speaks volumes. They see something solid, trustworthy, and wise in you. Young people ask you about their careers and life choices. Friends turn to you for encouragement or perspective. Even strangers may feel naturally drawn to your calm presence. I remember once, during an old friend's gathering, a young nephew pulled me aside and said, "Uncle, I'm thinking of changing jobs, but I'm scared of failing." I simply sat with him, listened, and said, "Change is never easy, but sometimes the hardest thing is the most worthwhile." His eyes lit up. At the time, I didn't realize it, but those few words gave him courage. And I thought, maybe true attractiveness is about helping others feel safe just by being near you. In moments like these, you don't need to be a motivational speaker. You just need to be fully present, listen sincerely, and speak from the heart. People feel that, and that sincerity, not polished words or charm, is what makes you so deeply magnetic. Friends have often asked me, how do you stay so calm, even when life throws curveballs at you? I smile and say, there's no secret. I've just learned to see things with more grace. The older we get, the more we realize what truly draws people isn't eloquence, but the peace they feel in your presence. Have you had moments like this? Has anyone ever turned to you in a quiet moment just seeking your comfort or guidance? If so, take it as a profound form of trust, a reflection of the grounded man you've become. Your presence, your words, carry power. Don't underestimate how your wisdom steadies those around you. Maybe someone once said, "That jacket looks great on you," or "You smell really nice today." These aren't superficial compliments. They're signs that people notice how you take care of yourself. Style isn't just about clothes. It's the respect you show yourself, expressed on the outside. Every morning, I still carefully shave, press a clean shirt, and polish my leather shoes. Not to impress anyone, but to remind myself that today is worth showing up for. One morning, the barista at my usual coffee shop smiled and said, "I really love your classic style, sir." I smiled back, feeling a quiet sense of pride. It wasn't flattery, it was recognition that I'm still shining in my own unique way. Dressing well isn't just for others, it's for you. It's about looking in the mirror and seeing a man who still carries himself with dignity. Women notice this too, not just your clothing, but the quiet confidence behind it. Attractiveness isn't about expensive clothes. It's how you confidently wear anything you choose. Over and over, I feel eyes glancing at me on the street. Not because I'm flashy, but because I carry a presence. Clean, grounded, with a touch of quiet elegance. And I've come to love getting older, because now I know. At this stage of life, attractiveness isn't a competition. It's a gentle rhythm, a warm melody from the heart. What about you? Do you have a favorite outfit or morning habit that makes you feel great? Have you ever received a compliment that stayed with you for days? Please share it in the comments. Sometimes the smallest words can become the biggest affirmations in our hearts. And your story may inspire someone else to see their reflection a little more kindly. Eye contact is a language of its own. If you've ever noticed someone holding your gaze just a little longer, it's not an accident. Something about you, your calmness, thoughtful eyes, or gentle smile, caught their attention. I once stood in a tiny used bookstore, flipping through old pages, when I noticed a woman across the aisle watching me. At first, I thought it was coincidence, but even when I moved to another section, I could still feel her eyes softly following me. No words, no gestures. But I understood, some things don't need to be spoken to be felt. Eyes don't lie. They carry admiration, curiosity, even silent respect. When a woman holds your gaze longer than usual, she may see something rare in you. A sense of safety, depth, grace. You don't have to do anything extraordinary. Just be present, composed, and authentic, and others will feel it. The truth is, attraction isn't always about actions. Sometimes it's about being the kind of man who's learned to listen more, observe deeper, and live more sincerely as the years pass. Have you ever had a moment like this? A silent connection across the room that you still remember today. Let's talk about that moment. How did it feel? Comforting? Surprising? Maybe even healing? Share your story in the comments if you're comfortable. You never know who else has felt the same, and how much they'll appreciate knowing they're not alone. You might not be the loudest or flashiest person in the room, but your presence soothes those around you. It's a quiet kind of charisma, hard to describe, but undeniably real. Many older men believe their time to impress others has passed, but the truth is, it's your calm attitude, quiet wisdom, and life experience that naturally draws people in, especially women. Think back to times when you entered a space, a family gathering, a community event, even a simple dinner. You might not have said much, but somehow the room shifted. People turned toward you. The energy softened. They might not say it, but they feel something in you. A steady presence, a safe harbor, a quiet strength. I once had an experience at a small cafe in the suburbs. A group of young men were chatting nearby. I ordered my usual black coffee and sat by the window. A few minutes later, one of them came over and said, "Sir, you remind us of our grandfather, just sitting there, but we feel like we want to ask you so much." We ended up talking for almost half an hour, about careers, failure, and even love. You see, you don't need to try to impress anyone. It's your authenticity, steady presence, and quiet kindness that makes you stand out in the most humble and powerful way. Have you noticed people leaning towards you when you speak? Do conversations naturally shift in your direction, even when you're simply observing? Those are signs. Take a moment. Can you recall a recent time when someone was drawn to you without you trying? What did they say? How did it feel? Share that moment in the comments. Your story may help someone else recognize their own quiet strength. Younger men often feel the need to prove themselves. They speak louder to be heard, dress boldly to be seen, act confidently to be admired. But you don't need that anymore. At this stage, you've lived enough to know what truly matters. You don't need to speak loudly. You simply smile and listen. I once joined a yoga class for older adults. While others struggled with breathing poses, I just sat still, enjoying the quiet within my body. A man beside me turned and said, "The way you sit, everything in this room feels calmer." That stillness comes from deep within. A history of loss, of returning, of grace. No one is born calm. It's a strength built over decades. And you, a man who has weathered storms and survived, are the embodiment of mature beauty. Now I want to ask you, how do you stay calm in a world that rushes? What's your secret for staying grounded? Do you take quiet time each day? Or have you found peace through trials and lessons? Share your rituals or reflections in the comments. Let's create a space where others can learn that confidence doesn't have to shout. It can whisper and still be heard. You don't need six-pack abs or play tennis daily to be attractive. At your age, health isn't just about physique. It's the brightness in your eyes, the steadiness in your walk, and the joy in your laughter. These subtle signs, people notice and often admire them more than youthful muscles. I once traveled with a group of old friends. Each morning, while some stayed in the hotel, I'd walk along the shore. One day, a young woman from another group jogged by, then turned back and said, "Sir, your walk looks like a happy man's walk." I smiled, heart warmed. It wasn't about my appearance. It was about my spirit expressed through each step. Not everyone has that. True charm doesn't lie in looks. It lives in your attitude, steady energy, and commitment to living well. And when you treat your body as a gift, others feel your gratitude for life shining through. Do you do something, just for yourself, to care for your health? Morning walks, quiet reading, smiling in the mirror? Tell us your favorite health ritual in the comments. It may spark a positive change in another gentleman today. And finally, honest laughter doesn't come from the best jokes. It comes from heart-to-heart connection. When people laugh at your stories, it's not because you're a comedian. It's because they see you, real, warm, human. And that, my friend, is one of the most attractive things of all. I often share stories about getting lost, forgetting my wallet, or cooking rice and forgetting to turn the pot on. These little old man tales always make my grandkids burst out laughing. I once asked my grandson, "Why are you laughing? It's not that funny." He said, "Because it's real, Grandpa, and your realness is the best part." The humor of old age isn't in being clever. It's in how you share your life with love. And when your slow, sincere stories bring a smile, you've planted something unforgettable in someone's memory. Think about it. What's your favorite story to tell? It doesn't need to be funny, just true. Share it in the comments. We'd love to laugh with you, cry with you, and be reminded that stories aren't for impressing, they're for connecting. Now that you've heard all 7 signs, take a moment to reflect. Maybe you never noticed these things in your everyday life, but now you understand. Your attractiveness never left you. It just matured into something deeper, more meaningful. You've moved beyond the noise, beyond the need to prove yourself. Now your wisdom, compassion, and quiet strength speak louder than words. You are a presence of peace, a place people come to for a kind word, a calming smile, or a quiet reminder of humanity. Leave a comment below. Which sign reminded you of yourself? Have you seen these qualities in someone you know? Or maybe, which one do you want to embrace more in this next chapter? Let's create a space of encouragement, a community where older men recognize just how attractive they truly are. If even one of these signs reminded you of yourself, congratulations. You're shining in ways you may have never realized. And if someone came to mind, a father, a friend, or even yourself, share this video as a gift, because maybe it's the quiet encouragement they've been waiting for. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so we can meet again next week to reflect, remember, and walk forward together on this beautiful path of aging with grace. Thank you for staying until the end. See you in the next story, where growing older is not an ending, but a deep, steady song of strength and love. You are not alone, and your beauty is still being seen.